You do in-home sales, you get your game face on, you go through your pre-game ritual, you drive hours to an in-home appointment and knock on the door, and nobody's home. What do you do? From being in this business for 35 years and literally managing thousands of salespeople, I've noticed that what you do when you're not in the home is just as crucial to making money as what you do when you are in the home. Selling home improvements on commission requires self-discipline and the mindset like you're running your own business. Nobody can actually see what you're doing once you're out and about. Nobody but you knows whether you just take a nap after you get no-showed or you actually go to work. This is not an activity job where you get paid by the hour or whether you work or not. It's a productivity job where you only get paid for results. If you ran your own business and nobody came in, would you just take a nap? It's the same thing here. Here are 3 things you can and should be doing if you're not in the lead and will help you turn those no-shows into gold, including how I get referrals and self-generate leads. Please listen to the end to hear all 3 so you don't miss anything. Now, if you like these type of videos, please help me by subscribing, or if you want more free training, check out the link in the description below. The first thing you can do if you have free time is that you should work on making yourself better. This is so simple, but so many people won't do it. Do you want to make more money? The only way for you to do that is to increase your skill set. The leads will never change, the customers will never get easier, and everything else about your selling job can't be controlled. The only controllable is your skill set. There are only 2 ways to get better. The first way is trial and error, and even that most salespeople don't get right. They run leads they sell, and they run leads they don't, and then they go on to the next one. Either their ego or skill set won't allow them to analyze the ones they missed, to figure out where they lost it, and what they could do differently the next time they had someone like that. That's why learning by trial and error can be hit or miss. The other way to learn is by studying from people who've already paid the dues and have figured out what works and doesn't work. Kudos to you if you're watching this video because it shows you're trying to get better, but hopefully you're learning something every day by reading, listening to podcasts or books, or role-playing with your peers. It has to be a consistent process. Not only to constantly increase your skill set, which will constantly increase your income, but to replace the information you're losing. It's like there's a hole in the back of your head where information is constantly leaking out. How many times have you heard something and thought, wow, I forgot all about that, or I used to do that but stopped? You have to keep refilling the knowledge. To stop wanting to learn is like saying you don't want to make more money or that you can't get any better than you are. Whether you've been doing this for 20 days or 20 years, it blows me away why people don't do this consistently. The second thing you need to do to make more money and be successful is to figure out a way to know and track your numbers. Hopefully, if you have a good sales manager, they're doing it for you. But I find that it's better not to leave your success in anyone's hands but yourself. After all, do you think anyone cares about you and your income more than you? If you don't know your numbers, how can you adjust or know what to fix? Look at professional athletes. Do you think a professional football player doesn't know his average yards per run or catch? A professional basketball player doesn't know his free throw percentage or what percentage of the time he drives to the right versus the left? Why do you think they know all of that? So they know where their weakness is and can adjust and get better on that statistic. The key word in all of that is professional. Remember, the difference between a professional and an amateur is that the professional gets paid. If you saw in the home, the numbers you should know and track are your sit rate, gross close rate, average contract price, cancellation and credit reject rate, net closing percentage, and average dollar per sale. All of these numbers are controllable by you. Ultimately, the one number everybody knows is their paycheck, but all those numbers broken down are what makes your paycheck what it is. Something as simple as your average contract price. If you raise that by 10%, you automatically get a 10% raise. But how do you know to do that if you don't even know what it is? The numbers tell you where you can improve and what to work on. The third thing you need to do is figure out a way to generate at least one self-generated sale a month, if not more, and do that when you get no-showed. Most companies pay an extra 5 to 10% commission for self-generated sales because of how expensive leads are. Most methods I use require an hour of extra work to generate one self-generated sale. Even if they only paid you 3% more and your average contract price was only $10,000, that would be an additional $300. That means I'm getting paid $300 an hour to do this. Most of you would be paid $500 to $1,000 an hour in extra commissions by learning how to do this effectively. Unfortunately, the majority of salespeople don't even ask for referrals, let alone have a dedicated system. The easiest way to do that is to get referrals from the people I sell. The way I do that is after I make a sale and I'm in the post-close where I'm reporting them again after the sale. The conversation usually sounds something like this. Well, again, I appreciate your business. I know you bought because I promised you that the job would be excellent and that you'd be very happy, right? Yes. Well, good, because after the job is done, I want to come back and take some after pictures and make sure you're happy with everything. Would that be okay? Yeah, that'd be great, Ron. Well, I have a favor to ask you. If I make sure that I keep my promise to you, can you make a promise to me? Well, it depends what it is. Well, if I keep my promise and you love everything and you're happy with the job, can you promise to help me get at least 3 people that you know are referrals that I could contact and see if they'd be interested in what we do? This makes me look good with my company because referrals means happy customers. Most people say, yeah, I'll see what I can do. Then when I go visit them after the job is done and double check that they're happy with everything, I say, so, did I keep my promise to you that you'd be happy with everything? Yes, you did. Would you remember your promise to me? What's that, Ron? Remember that you said you'd give me at least 3 people that I could contact and see if they'd be interested if you were happy. Now I get the referrals. Now, whether I'm asking for referrals here or some other times, if people don't give you a referral, usually what they say is, well, I don't really know anyone right now. The easiest way to deal with that is for you to say, oh, you think I'm asking for the names of people that you know are interested in getting a new roof, right? Yeah. No, it's not something people normally talk about. I mean, did you tell all of your friends when you were looking or getting at a new roof? No, not really. What I just needed are the names of 3 people that you know that are homeowners that I could contact and see if they're interested in getting their roof done. Oh, okay. And then get the 3 names. In the old days, they'd have to get their address book. They have 100 names sitting right in front of them, right on their phone. Sometimes if they're being a little stubborn and say, well, I really don't know anyone, I might literally have to point next door across the street and say, well, who lives there then? And then get the name and number and contact them. The other place I ask for referrals is from people who don't buy. Usually after I'm done, if they don't buy, I'll say, well, is there any constructive criticism you can give me in how I explain everything today? And at that point, most people feel guilty because they're not buying and they say, oh no, everything was perfect. So if anyone asks you about getting a new roof, do you think you'd feel comfortable recommending us to find out about? Oh yeah, that'd be no problem. And then I ask them for any referrals like I did earlier and use the same rebuttal for people who say they don't know anyone. If nothing else, get in the habit of asking. I also use the rapport I have by adding, and if you like me, this would really help me right now because we're having a contest just to see who can get the most referrals, and I'm winning. Then ask. Another way to get self-generated leads requires you to be aggressive and a hunter, which if you're in sales, I know you are. This is when I get a not home or a no-show. I usually go to the house to the left and to the right and the 3 houses across the street, 5 houses. And I knock on the door and say, oh, I'm sorry to bother you. I show my ID and I say, just really quick, I wanted to check, does John Smith live right there? And I point to the house where I got no-showed. Well, yes, he does. Why? Well, because I'm from ABC HVAC Company and we do free HVAC consultations to see whether people could save money with an HVAC system. And we had an appointment at 10 o'clock and he wasn't there. And since this is a no cost or an obligation and it's free, generally people wait a week or 2 to get an appointment and it's rare that they're not home. So I just wanted to make sure I had the right address. You'd be surprised how many people at that point say, yeah, he lives there, but what do you mean by a free HVAC consultation or roofing consultation or whatever you do? And I'm able to get an appointment from them. Remember, most homes in the neighborhood are the same age, and if one person needs a home improvement done, there's a good chance their neighbors do as well. And a lot of times, if there's an interest, instead of setting an appointment, I might say, well, they're not home and you're home right now. You just want to go ahead and get the free consultation now? Sure. And then you go. Remember, this is your business and you can't be afraid to work it like one. Stop acting like the little lamb waiting to be fed every day. Now, if you found this video helpful, please watch the video on Failure is Good or the playlist on home improvement sales closing listed above. Happy selling!